Chapter 812. The necklace around Hosanna's neck suddenly cracked with a crisp sound and broke apart. What? Before he could even react, Hosanna's figure vanished from the eyes of the member in an instant. What? What? The arm of the member who had tried to catch Hosanna flailed powerlessly through the air and fell to the ground. He stared blankly as if time had stopped and then let out a cry of horror. Emergency! The prisoner has escaped! The member had certainly let his guard down. However, as with all things in life, not everything was his fault. The weather was exceptionally bad, and on that day, no members were outside the branch. The elder siblings, caught up in their excitement, had carelessly failed to completely control the information. Kana, having left her post, entrusted Hosanna to someone unfamiliar with him, and everyone momentarily overlooked how this fragile young awakener had astonishingly and rapidly recovered his abilities in the face of desperation. The strange sensation Kana had felt before she left was Hosanna's power growing explosively in the face of immense desperation and anxiety, shaking the control necklace. Despite his appearance and personality making it difficult to recognize, Hosanna was an awakener with tremendous potential, even judged by either Ale as having no equal in the future in terms of mobility. Even the suppression device, which functioned within Renevi's domain, weakened once outside. Still, in its prototype phase, it was unprepared for the sudden increase in the power it was suppressing. And all these factors together gave Hosanna his chance. The startled unit members quickly emerged to search for Hosanna. Some swiftly headed toward their commander and colleagues. In the chaos, even the prisoners trapped underground sensed something unusual. What's happening? What's going on outside? Most were anxious or curious, but one man in solitary confinement was different. The man named Aton, shackled with nightly fetters on his hands and feet and wearing a power suppression collar, opened his eyes quietly, listening to the faint sounds of running. His keen senses, honed by his exceptional sportsmanship, quickly discerned the problem outside. Someone has escaped. It's surprising that someone could break through those demonic eyes. He thought of the demonic-tongued commander of the cavalry with beautiful face and the black-haired monster who had thrown him down to the very bottom of the underground. They must have thought they could learn something by imprisoning Aton here, but he wasn't overly concerned about what would happen after his capture. There were many who could take his place. The balance of this land was already tipping. What Aton did was merely drill a small hole in an already tilted ship. But once a hole is made, it only takes a slight shake for water to start leaking. And that time might just be now. Ding. Above the heads of those breathlessly running, amidst the coldly swirling sleet, the first bell toll echoed from a distant bell tower. It was a solemn sound, signaling the start of the funeral. We kind of expected, but I think it is to kind of add that surprise element to the story. Not everything can go according to our protagonist, right? So I guess this is what it is, where everything is kind of slowly falling apart. But I'm sure they can control it pretty swiftly. Listening to the long, continuous bell tolls, Yudhir momentarily turned his gaze toward the bell tower. But this was only a brief diversion. He soon turned his head back to gaze at the scene before him. Under the dark storm clouds, a large temple built in the southern style was visible. The interior and courtyard of the temple, draped in black curtains, indicated a funeral was underway. Already, it was filled with people dressed in black. This was where the funeral of the second Prince Ashro was to be held today. There were so many people that it looked as if all the nobles of the south had come to attend. However, to be honest, the atmosphere of the funeral, as seen through Yudhir's eyes, seemed more like a party. There were hardly any mourners, and many seemed to be using the opportunity to engage in conversation. Kishir, seated in a slowly moving carriage in line to get off at the entrance of the funeral site, observed this scene and remarked, Well, for them, attending a funeral of someone from the Honi family must be a quite common experience. Isn't that right, Gakane? Kurga? Gakane and Kurga, who had come with him for the day, were both born from the south. One, though fallen from nobility, belonged to a noble family, and the other was a child of a humble fisherman. Yet both nodded simultaneously at Kishir's words. Yes, that's right. I remember hearing several times about funerals at the Honi ducal house when I was younger. I have never attended one in person though. Yes, but even so, we can't exactly say that this atmosphere is the most respectful. Let's make sure we stay solemn once we go in. Understood. The carriage carried 6 passengers: Kishir, Yidhir, Gakane, Kurga, and also Suns and Amon. The reason Suns and Amon were here was simple. General Gino had also decided to attend this funeral. Yidhir, as usual, was there to assist Kishir. Gakane and Kurga were filling in for 2 members who couldn't make it, and Nathan Zuckerman, busy with other matters, was due to join them later. Finally, their carriage stopped at the entrance of the temple. There were no announcer to introduce the arrivals, as it wasn't a party. Nevertheless, those who were chatting turned their heads in silence towards them. It was expected. When Kishir Lahore appeared, it was typical for people to fix their gaze on him, whether they liked him or not. Even if most had only heard of him through rumors, the reaction was the same. Is that Duke Paleta? Was he invited? How did he get here? Regardless of the murmurs, Kishir walked confidently with a smile, followed by Yidhir, Kurga, Gakane, Suns, and Amon. Among the people who dared not speak, a familiar face suddenly popped up. Oh, Your Highness, you have arrived. General Gino, you are already here. Hello, General. General Gino, dressed in the formal uniform worn by generals at official events, greeted them with a commanding presence. Beside him stood his subordinates, among whom Yidhir noticed Suns and Amon showing great pleasure at seeing one of them. A short-haired woman, obviously well-trained. She must be Adjutant Meghna Karliva. It seems Your Highness's excellent adjutant couldn't make it today. I was looking forward to it as I brought Meghna with me today. It's a shame. Nathan, you mean? He might come later, so you might get a chance to meet him. Oh, is that so? Meghna, it seems God has not forsaken us. At General Gino's test, Meghna Karliva gave a slight smile. She was said to be in her 40s, but at a glance, she appeared only in her late 20s. It was a testament to her immense training. Being touted as the next Sword Master doesn't seem to be an exaggeration. Yidhir, noticing Sun's hesitant desire to greet Meghna, nudged him lightly in the ribs. Ouch! Has Special Officer Galexandre Belforce also arrived here? There seemed to be someone who fit the description, but since it had been a long time since Yidhir had last seen Galexandre Belforce, he needed confirmation. Yes, there he is. Among the people behind Adjutant Karliva, he's the tallest one. Indeed, it's him. Yidhir scrutinized the face of the man Suns pointed out. The face, faint in his memory, now looked younger and more foolish. Galexandre appeared distracted, glancing around aimlessly. Had he not been in the Imperial Army uniform, he might have been mistaken for a clueless newcomer. Noticing Yidhir's gaze, Galexandre's expression contorted as if he had chewed on something bitter, while Yidhir slightly lifted one corner of his lips. Coming here on his own accord, I should be thankful. What a fool. Ding! The distant bell tolled again, its count lost in time. General Gino, who was engaged in a conversation with Kishir, turned his head at the sound. Oh, we should probably head into the chapel now. Will you join us? Indeed. Anyone could come to the temple to pay their respects today. However, only those directly invited by the deceased immediate family could enter the chapel where the formal funeral would take place, and they were allowed only one companion. Hence, aside from Kishir, Yidr, General Gino, and Meghna Kurleva, the rest had to stay outside. Yidr, representing Kishir, instructed their companions on their tasks. Gakane, Kurga, I'm not leaving you outside just to watch the carriage. You know that better than anyone. Of course, Yidr. There is a chance something might happen, so find a spot and keep watch. You can handle it. Good. Suns and Emon will help you. Don't let your guard down. If anything happens, Gakane, contact me. I will send a shadow right away. Don't worry. Gakane responded with a determined face. Gakane himself is not a concern, but the foolish nobles who had been staring at him since we arrived are a bit worrying. Most seemed interested in Gakane's appearance, but one could never be too sure. Given that Gakane was from the south, it was highly likely that someone here recognized him. Nevertheless, the reason Gakane had come this far was because of the trust in his skills and capabilities. After patting Gakane and Kurga on the shoulders, Yidr turned around. Kishir was waiting for him with a smile.